Good afternoon, beautiful people, teachers, and tutors, and also our honorable judges. Welcome to the science section of the UK University Project Contest of 2026. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon. I can feel that the team in the afternoon seems slightly more nervous than the teams in the morning. I don't know why. Is it because that you have been really well prepared in the whole morning and you are really well excited to share your project to the judges? I hope so. Before we start, I would like to introduce you our honorable guests today to make sure that you know who sponsored this competition all the way, especially to our Chinese students. So first, I would like to introduce you the Regional Director of the University of Sheffield International College, Casey Wong. And then the recruitment manager from the Durham University International Student Center, Study Center, Mr. Mark Robinson. And also the global education institution that have been very supportive to Taiwan education for students studying abroad. The country manager, Mr. William Chong. And since the competition has been so successful, to get the notice from the other UK universities, I'm really honored to introduce you the UCL Taiwan Official Postgraduate Recruitment Office Senior Recruitment Manager, Miss Julia Chen. Last but not least is our senior student consultant from our center that we have been dedicated to the student study abroad for last decade. So please welcome Ms. Li Fanghong. So the project contest has been supported and sponsored by the main two UK universities. And especially for the science project, I'm really honored and feel great pressure to introduce the following guests to give you the welcome speech because the University of Sheffield has been supported this contest welcome Chinese students in the last 9 years. So please welcome Ms. Casey to give you a welcome speech.
So good afternoon, everyone. Like to students, parents, teacher, and the organizer of ISC. Like this is really my great honor to be here. Like to join this night project contest. So this is not an easy one, and I really appreciate the effort that help us to connect with Taiwanese high school. Like all the students in the past studying in Sheffield was not always very bright and talented. So I'm so excited to be able to join today. And for today's category for Sheffield, obviously it's STEM. So what we are expecting is like hope you will be able to use our very powerful tool, data. So I would like to see for today's content, your presentations, like how we use a powerful tool, data, to identify the problem that you can see nowadays and how we use data to solve those problems. And I would love to see your original idea and how you can present it easily to understand to the general public. Because for today's judges, they are from different fields. Some maybe have more science background, some will be from humanity background. So how can you present some STEM idea to general public is also one of the criteria. But relax, I want to see something with happy face, enjoying tonight, and good night. And good, sorry, good luck.
So today, the outstanding student who sits with us today, not just the most excellent Chinese student, they are actually the future data scientists that are going to help us to stand the sustainability of the environment and from their project. So first, I would like, before I start, I have to remind you that all the scoring mark regulation we have told you in the email, right? We would like to kindly remind you each group has 20 minutes, but it doesn't mean you have to speak 20 minutes. The maximum time you can speak is 15 minutes because you need to leave 5 minutes for the judges to be curious about your project. I wouldn't say question. I would say curious about your project. That give you more chances to clarify your idea if the judges have any questions. So remember, the maximum time you have is 15 minutes. If you can't finish in the 15 minutes, we will remind you with that board that you have 5 minutes left. And that's it. We don't have the bell to ring you, but we will stop you once the 15 minutes arrive. And we'll leave the final 5 minutes for the judges to ask you questions. Okay? Okay. So good luck. Now, please welcome the first team that's going to present a project called Stems to Power. Please welcome Team 20.
Good afternoon, Honorable Judge. We are Team 20. My name is Heidi.
My name is Amy.
My name is Both. It's a great honor to be here today to present our project, Step to Power. Taiwan is a small island that its air pollution problem is among the most severe of developing countries. Since childhood, we hear a lot about air pollution issues and the disease it causes. However, how exactly does air pollution occur? And also, how can we reduce it? Simply put, the most efficient way is to reduce reliance on fossil fuel. Through our observation and statistical analysis, we discovered a sobering reality. Over 80% of our power in our communities come from thermal power plants. This heavy reliance is the primary driver behind Taiwan's severe air pollution. The cause of the pollution measured in human health. Many citizens in Taiwan continue to suffer from cardiopulmonary issues and allergies, which are directly linked to poor air quality.
Moreover, Taiwan is expected to face a power shortage in the near future because of the development of AI industry. And the current green energy sources are unstable and inefficient. And for example, although solar energy accounts for the largest proportion, nearly half of all green energy generation, it cannot generate electricity at night. And vital energy is another energy that is very stable and a new energy. And but because it's neutral technology, it's power hydropower are heavily influenced with seasons. Both dry seasons and wind power within periods can result in no electricity. We have also considered nuclear power, which is highly efficient and has high generation capacity. However, it is not widely adopted in Taiwan because of policy and safety concerns.
Therefore, to support SDG Goals 7 and 11, clean energy and sustainable cities, we began to ask, is there a way to generate electricity that does not largely affect the weather, can adapt to any environment, and can generate electricity when people are moving around? We began to explore the potential of kinetic energy harvesting cells, collecting mechanical energy from every footstep.
Our initial idea was to use an electromagnetic induction. When we shake it, the magnet inside will move up and down, activating the process to generate electricity. When we utilize this theory, first we will step on the tile that is placed like a curve, and the spring will pass it back and generate the electricity.
By successfully generating electricity through the flow of people, green energy generation will no longer be limited by nature, but will be sustainable adaptation, high urban speed, and can generate electricity uninterruptedly. To be realistic, we evaluated the feasibility of the project through 3 distinct lenses: population, climate, and financial viability. Because our project depends on the frequency of staff, we first analyze the population to calculate how much energy we can generate. By analyzing the official tourism statistics from the tourism administration, we identified 5 high traffic districts in Taichung, including the Taichung train station, Xinguang department store, Parkland by CMP, Yizhong Street, and Dongjia night market. Of these 5 locations, due to the high degree of repetition in some characteristics, we eventually narrowed down the analysis to the following 3 locations. The first one we chose is Taichung train station, as it has the largest and most stable population flow. Then we chose Xinguang over Parkland, as both have high weekend crowds. Xinguang, which is near to the City Hall station, ensures consistent daily traffic, making it a more reliable energy source than the site that only peaks on weekends. We also observed Yizhong Street and Dongjia night markets, which both posted a unique advantage: nighttime food flow. Though the value in Delhi is lower, the ability to generate electricity in the evening is better. Finally, since Yizhong Street had a consistent flow of students, it became the most suitable place to put the child.
Next, we will analyze the pedestrian flow and improvement methods. Before proceeding with analysis, we must clarify that although it is now 2026, the information for 2025 and 2026 is not complete as it was in 2024. Therefore, to ensure no data omissions, we chose to use the closing year with complete data, 2024. So, let's start with our first one, Taichung train station. Based on the 2024 Training Annual Statistics website, we found out that Taichung train station accounts for 47% of all passengers in all train stations in Taichung. And our placement side of the tile is based on population. First, the ticket gate. This fully tile here can not only connect a large number of tickets, but also avoid large-scale installation. Second, bus transit corridors. The long walking distance between trains and buses allows us to collect more footsteps per person. Third, the escalator gantry. At a train station, people often carry heavy luggage, which made it necessary to take the escalator.
The second zone is visual street. Visual street route is highly stable. Unlike tourists who stay away when they rest, students provide a consistent flow because they need to attend classes nearby. Next, we need to consider where to install kinetic energy harvesting tiles. While high different density offers much kinetic energy, the wet distribution makes maintenance difficult. And heavy vehicles may damage the tiles. Consequently, as post-street installation is impractical, we manually selected Shady Building and Sunning Bookstore. Shady Building and Sunning Bookstore floor and higher maintenance with no vehicle traffic damage, making them ideal for installation. The third one is Xinguang. At the station with the second highest exit volume, City Hall Station provides a consistent flow towards Xinguang, ensure a stable pedestrian flow even on weekdays. We created a chart using data from Taichung City Government's Economic Development Group. The chart shows that Xinguang ranks first in revenue among department stores in Taichung, which indirectly indicates it has a large pedestrian flow. We will install our kinetic energy harvesting tiles in both indoor and outdoor plaza. There are two advantages of indoor plaza: stable pedestrian flow and protected environments. Protecting our rent and vehicle destruction help reduce the costs. We will install the tiles in the entrance where data shows stable pedestrian flow about 10 hours daily. For the outdoor plaza, we built family profitable by components. In addition to people who come for shopping, also street performances attract crowds, which increases the overall pedestrian flow and thereby generate electrical energy.
Next, I would like to introduce the environmental and climate impact. First is temperature fluctuation. Due to the outdoor locations like Edo District and Xinguang Outdoor Plaza, temperature changes become especially important. Through data, we can figure out that Taichung's average temperature is much higher than the global average. Second, roadside service temperature. In Taichung, known temperatures often hit 40 to 50 degrees Celsius, even 60 in summer. This intense heat often causes overheating and might destroy the device. To address this, we have considered to use a heat-resistant device to ensure stability.
Next, humidity. Taichung's rainfall is highly seasonal, delivering an extra volume in a very short window. Therefore, we utilize waterproof materials to ensure the durability of the system. Our next consideration factor is earthquakes. Taiwan earthquakes occur frequently. Therefore, a shock-proofing material is essential, such as spray buffer to reduce the impact. In conclusion, environmental challenges such as humidity, high temperatures, or even UV radiations affect our devices, leading to maintenance frequency and material fatigue. By identifying some solutions, we are sure to help minimize these damages. In spite of these waterproof design, we also conceive of other questions. Same as the iPhone battery health, with a charge efficiency well below 80%, it alerts us to fix it before it breaks. This predictive maintenance keeps our code flow and stable power. We realize that having an idea is easy, but powering the city is hard. So, with the help of AI, we created a simple formula to calculate how much energy we can generate. To calculate our power, We use 4 key values. Start with force and displacement, which physical energy comes from. Then we multiply it by physical frequency and our system conversion efficiency. Based on the formula and data, we derive our conception. A 60 kilogram NL with 5 millimeter displacement can generate 7 volts. However, 60 kilogram is just an estimation. To be more precise, we use weight average based on the age distribution of our 3 locations. After analyzing and learning, the average weight are 60, 50, and 55 kilograms. By injecting data like total frequency, ground density, and its impact on case, we eventually calibrated value to 5.5 watts per person.
However, we must be realistic because the costs are always important. If we look at its long-term value, if we look at its long-term perspective, it is extremely high costs, but it will eventually be cost-effective. Therefore, we come up with some solutions. First, focus on the long-term cost. Through the technology, we can not only earn carbon credits, but also need zero extra effort to help the Earth. Second, everyone can be an actual participant in global issues. Third, use sensors to collect data. By tracking the foot traffic, we can collect valuable data for the business and urbans. By combining data and creative engineering, we show that even the simplest human action, walking, can be a solution to global crisis. Every step counts, and every step powers our future. That's all for our presentation. Thank you for listening.
Good job for time management. So, any questions from our judges?
Yes, really, I do too much. Thank you. So, first of all, I really appreciate the idea that you bring up. I think this is a really great idea. Like nowadays, like pollutions and limited resources, energies, and all the petrol now, all of the price is so crazy, and we have like such a good idea of using our day-to-day walking practice to be green energies or new source of energies. That would be very lovely to hear, and I really like the idea of like having this creativities. And I can also see that you have good demonstrations on the data use, how those what you make decisions on how you implement different sensor things to different area, how to work on it. And then you also like with this little tools to show that how it works and draw our attention. So I really love it. And for my questions to you guys is like when you try to collect your data, when you try to like do your research, like how do you start with this idea? I really want to come up to see what makes you come up with an idea that should focus on energy. How do you treat this customer?
So the first time we listened to the tutorial project is when we, in a class, our teacher told us that in UK, one company called Clean Tech Company have come up with this project. And so we think this maybe it is possible in the future. So we, after searching and analyzing the data like this competition, we want to, maybe in future, we can conduct this project.
Yeah, really great. I really appreciate that. That's like for Sheffield, like maybe doing some promotion from Sheffield. So for Sheffield, we are really want to see students with global view. Like the area that now we are focusing on is not only limited to Taiwan. Definitely, this is a more global issue, and you bring up global issue and to look at it as a student angle, and then later on when you get more knowledge on science, on how to implement it, and the great things you also analyze is how helpful it can be, like all the course management, that area I really appreciate. Thank you.
Other questions?
One thing, I think, first of all, I was really impressed because you had a very clear decision-making process. It's like very, very well done how we arrive at which places we're going to implement the project and why. So for me, the clarity is really there. I really appreciate that. One question is, do we have, I know this technology exists, right? And we've seen it maybe in a lab, right? We've had a great live demonstration. Do we have any like real world applications that we've seen where this has been implemented, and do you know the success of those?
According to this question, we have mentioned just like she said, the UK company, that think tech company, has just adapted that in many places in global, maybe 20 cities, 20 locations to put those. It's a really exists technology.
Okay, thank you very much. Please give Team 20 applause again. It's always nice to see the all-female devoted in the science field. So next team, let's welcome Team 44. Now they are going to bring the topic called Role Rules or Role Riddles.
Sorry.
Everything?
Oh, okay. Where's that from? Is that sense?
Here.
Oh.
Would you like to tap the enter first?
Okay.
That's a go.
I'm gonna try. I'm about to show you a code right now. Take a look at this picture. The side is not only not being taken very well, it is also being covered by another. Now, I know what you're thinking. It's not a big deal. We'll take a look at this picture. I mean, we got this from SET News, and where is the sign pointing? The bridge? The sky? I don't know. Now take a look at this picture. Now, imagine you have 3 seconds to look all the questions, all the signs. You do not have the time to go through all of these signs. At this point, do I even need to say anything? I could go on and on. I mean, are these road rules or road riddles? Smooth transition, I guess.
Really? That was the best you could think of?
Anyway, road rules or road riddle. This is our research topic, and this is also what we are answering and solving today. So, are these really road rules or just road riddles?
Now, before actually getting to anything, let's get a quick look at our table of contents. First, we'll go through our motivation for this project, our 2 research questions, then methodology, where we'll go through a bit of the questionnaire we made for this study. Then, what follows is, of course, data analysis, where we analyze the data we've gotten from the questionnaire. After all that, we wrap it up with our findings, the conclusion we came to, and finally, our references.
Now, let's get into our motivation. While we were searching for a topic, we came across a news article that would be the trigger to our topic of choice today. And that article is right here. So of course, we don't expect you to read all this little text. So my teammate will summarize it for you, and we'll zoom into it on the next slide, which is now.
This is the translations for you. Basically, the government turned a roundabout into a regular four-way intersection. They wanted to cut down on traffic accidents and make it safer for pedestrians. Because this spot had the worst traffic accident record in the area. So, but even after they made the change, it still had the most accidents. So the government then decided to remodel the road sign. And that seems to make the real difference.
This is the results. There were over 100 traffic accidents in 2024, which dropped to around 85 in 2025, a decrease of about 15%. Although it may not seem like much, this shows us that even the tiniest changes can make the biggest differences. But right here led us into a wormhole of analyzing these kinds of news articles about traffic accidents.
Now, considering the scale in which we are doing this, we made an organization system. The news articles that were caused by road signs, we assigned them with 1, and the ones that were not, were assigned with 0.
What else can you write?
It doesn't hurt to clarify.
Since my teammate cannot explain clearly, here is what it looks like. For example, in this top left news report, it has an accident occurred at an intersection without road signs. And since it mentions issues about road signs, we categorize it as 1. Of course, these are not all the articles we found. Actually, we have looked at 100 articles. Out of these 100 articles, we found that 15 to 20% of traffic accidents were caused by road signs.
But that's not all we learned. We learned that the rest of the car accidents were caused by human factors. Yeah, of course, no surprise there. But what I really wanted to say is, these human factors are more difficult to control. However, road signs can. So that's why we are here today, trying our best to fix road signs.
All right, with our motivation came our questions. Oh, specifically, research questions. Our first question is, how may road signs affect a road user judgment? And after we know the why, we know the how to minimize sign reading time and enhance driver decision making.
Now take a look at the text. Our project aims to have new drivers, elderly drivers, and people who drive at night. Because, like we just mentioned, signs can be small, ruined, or complicated. So we strive to make them easier for everyone on the road.
Alright, unclear road signs may cause errors in judgment, increase reaction time, and risk of traffic accidents. Let's get into the purpose of our research. Explore whether the existing road signs are easy to identify, or our research would just be a bit. And analyze whether the modified design we propose are making road signs clearer. Since everyone's idea of clear is different, so we make a questionnaire to ensure the reliability of our proposal.
Now we'll be on to road sign confusion. I'm sure you have a lot of questions. And here.
And this is the visual diagram. We made some organized road sign confusion for you, including visual clarity, people, standards, environment, procedures, and equipment. Among these categories, we believe that visual clarity is the main element that can be effectively enhanced through proactive design.
We highlighted a few things with red squares, specifically visual pattern, low contrast, and small text size. You'll see these elements a little bit later during our data analysis.
Now moving on to our research methodology. So let's talk about this questionnaire we've been referencing. Now, with this questionnaire, we have 100 people with obviously diverse license. For now, this flow diagram, we use elements of that to create this questionnaire and the redesign of our road signs. Then we did the pilot study, and the final questionnaire was conducted online around January of 2026. The survey's goal was to mainly figure out if our redesign of the road signs really worked.
After hearing that long ramble, you probably have a few questions.
Hey, what do you mean, Ramble?
No worry, because instead of just talking, showing you is more easier. Let's get into our data analysis, showing us if our redesign really works.
This is what the questionnaire actually looks like. First, we ask for your age. Then we ask for how long you've been driving. These two questions will be important later. Now take a look at the right of the slide. These are two similar pictures in question 1. One of them is before our redesign, one is after. You can rate these two pictures in terms of helpfulness and clarity.
Now, moving on to the driving experience, just to let you get a feel of who's filling out these forms. Now, we mostly have intermediates and experts fill out these forms, but we try our best to get up to range.
This is picture 1. We only enlarged the road sign. Now, I know what you're thinking, but sometimes it is always needed. Let's take a look at the right. The chart shows that the average clarity score of modified road sign is 4, and the original score is only about 2.5. Now let's take a look at the left chart. This chart shows that our modified road sign is there for every age group, especially for senior users.
This is picture 2. We did more than just make the signs bigger. First, we categorized them. This can be especially helpful for tourists. Then we color-coded them, so it can be even easier to tell them apart at a glance. And if that wasn't enough, made sure to put up a sign above for easier viewing. Besides that, we made directions a bit clearer as well.
Now let's analyze this a little bit. Look at this chart. Alright, as you can see, after we color-coded them and categorized them, we got a rating of about 4 points. And then you can see the original only got 2.5 points. And over there, you can see, although seniors gave us the lowest ratings overall, you can see the biggest difference in ratings before and after. Which shows us that this redesign helps the seniors to us.
And let's get into our conclusion. We have noticed 5 things that we need to pay attention to when making road signs. First, increasing color contrast. Second, reducing excessive text. Third, better indication of directions. Fourth, better visual relative position. And the last one is adjusting spacing between words and letters.
Also, we found that if 13 to 20% accidents are caused by road signs. As we mentioned before, we did an analysis of this report. Then by fixing those signs, we expect to see a decrease of 13 to 20%. It's a direct and significant impact on road safety.
Now finally, our future prospects. Now, if we were to continue this research, we hope to do an eye tracking research. Now, This can do many things, like see what attracts the driver's attention at first, or how long it takes for them to read X amount of signs, and much more. It will be more reliable than a questionnaire, since it's less subjective. And these are preferences. And thank you for your attention.
I believe our judges definitely paid attention, right? So any questions from our honorable judges? Any questions?
First of all, I think you guys have some really unique data organization. So the fishbone diagram, then later like your applied research where you conduct your survey, have really good data analysis. So it's your work with your data is really, really well done. So I appreciated that from your presentation. My question is you seem to obviously have some results, right, where this is an obvious improvement. Okay, so why don't you think this is happening right now?
Well, I feel like the answer is obvious because it takes a lot of time and money to do the game. Changing every single design would take a lot of time, which I think is a caveat to our research. But maybe in places with more access, we hope to change those road signs first. Yeah.
So I think you've learned kind of something important for something like researchers or scientists is that funding is always your issue.
Yeah.
And then the next thing I saw is you have proposals for future research. So the next important thing about researchers is asking for more funding for your projects. So you're already learning how to be very good scientists. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I also agree with Mark. So I can see that like the scientific methodologies that you have been using, like how did you collect all the data and do the surveys, and how did you analyze the data to support your finding? So this is a very good usage of scientific approach. And it is true that like if you are very STEM focused, but like in your future, for your future next step, you will also need to see how you can convince other parties to support you. If you have already identified this issue, this problem, and you have all your data to support it, but how can you convince others? Then you may have to implement other skills that you can convince others. Different angle, that will be future for your future benefits, that would be very good. And I appreciate that like for today's like the past two group that you guys are very good at. Like you come up being bold to be here, get out from the class, like in front of us and do a very minimum presentations to us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions from our judges? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for the advice.
So that's the first part of the contest this afternoon, and we are going to have 5 minutes break. You can have a tea. Congratulations, whoever finished, you can take a nap. Relax a little bit, and the other 3 probably still very nervous. We'll come back here. Let me see. Please come back here 2:30, okay? Let's see you in 5 minutes. Okay, now we come to the second part. So now please everyone give applause for Team 15. They are going to present a project called The Effect of AI-based robot facilitated picture book reading English learning. Obviously, I probably need one. Please welcome.
Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jason. This is Leslie and Winfred. Today we'll be talking about how and what we've learned about AI educational robots' effects on English learning.
Why?
Okay, this is a quick overview of our main points, everything from our motivation to do research and suggestions for policy and future research. As AI technology continues to progress, we believe AI is the next step in improving educational resource inequality and the gap between high-performing and low-performing students. Because some AI robots can create social presence, meaning they are able to mimic human behaviors and expressions, which can increase engagement for everyone in the class. However, most Taiwanese schools use traditional education methods, and on average, these classes have a class size of around 30 students. A teacher-student ratio this high, we believe, could create lack of individual interaction and ineffective responses to students. And what this means is that high-performing students can become bored with the material, and low-performing students will become more shy about the questions they ask. And that teachers cannot fully respond to every student's question to the extent that they will understand what the teacher means. However, the AI robot can be used in our research. It's equipped with large language models, and it allows it to generate positive feedback in its responses. And we believe that it could actually increase confidence for all the students in the class, therefore increasing engagement. And the Candy robot can grant teachers great convenience, so the teachers can focus on low-performing students when they can't catch up. Our research aims to answer these two research questions: whether AI-assisted teaching actually improves student learning outcomes, and how Candy robot affects low, medium, and performing students differently. And the low, medium performing students in our research is based on their score rankings in the pre-test before we started the research. And Winfred will talk more about the pre-test in the later slides.
We use the mixed method research, including qualitative and quantitative research. The reason why we use this research method is because it combines numerical trends and in-depth context. For the quantitative part, we use non-equivalent pre-test post-test control group design and quality experiment design. in our qualitative tool is teacher design English capable learning, which include story, close, concepts, and reading comprehension. For the qualitative part, we conducted interviews with the teachers and the students. Our participants are 55 fifth grade students in Songju Elementary School. We used the book Boy Get Off Our Train as our teaching material. Our independent variable is the absence or the presence of KEVI, and our dependent variable is the English learning outcome, which can be calculated by calculating the difference between the pre-test score and the post-test score. In the experimental group, KEVI robot will be assigned to participants to assist teachers, while the control group will only assist teachers with their presentations. Our experimental group has a sample size of 28 students, and our control group will have 27 students. Our study consists of a 4-week procedure. A pre-test in week 1, a course spanning weeks 2 and 3, and post-test in week 4. After that, we'll analyze the experimental group and control group data and conduct interviews with teachers and students. This is a brief introduction about KEVI. KEVI is made by Neurobotics, and we connect KEVI to a tablet to use its features, which includes interaction and responding. The AI agent is embedded in the robot, making it multitask and effective for learning. The picture book teaching agent and the group presentation scoring agent are embedded in KEVI. The picture book teaching agent interacts with students based on the teacher's set role, learning goals, and teaching steps, while the group presentation scoring agent will use our self-designed criteria to give comments and suggestions to students, which is the criteria is developed from the Songju Elementary School's homeroom teacher. This is an image of KEVI's role. We input the general rules and provide the situation to KEVI. And this is an image of inputting KEVI robots speaking screen. During weeks 2 and 3, students will participate in a 4-phase course about the picture book. We will teach them the main ideas, and they will understand the story concept, which includes animal habitats and animal crisis. And after that, they prepare a presentation about how the story reflects the real world issues. We use calculated means and standard deviations for the experimental and control groups before and after the intervention. We use man-Whitney U tests to compare the pre-test and post-test score, and we compare the difference in post-test improvement using the protocol analysis. Now I'll hand it over to Wes.
Before the teaching, we will give our pre-test to every participant. And the next page is how KEVI will teach the students. And KEVI will please don't work against you guys. It's okay. It's all right.
请介绍报告为让你吸收历史知识，说完结，说完结，
Every student will take turns to go to talk with Kathy on which part they will report and how they want to respond to their presentation session. Then Kelly will give feedback and scores when the presentation is finished.
首先，您的听题内容发生的
It's a robot sound, but it is not really good. But okay. Then we will give the full test to every participant, and we can contrast the full test score and pre-test score. Then we can to prove our hypothesis is wrong or correct or wrong. First, we will use the JSP statistical software to analyze our data, and according to many with these few tests, we can get that our pre-test scores on the country group and experimental group have the same pre-test score. That means they start with a similar English level. And then the experimental group has the higher improvement in the co-test. That means Kelly teaching is very effective than the teacher's teaching. Then we use different levels of English learners to develop our hypothesis, and using the classical test to prove that low-performing students and medium-performing students have higher improvements than high-performing students. However, high-performing students can have subtle effects. That means the high-performing students already get very high score than low and medium-performing students. So they have a less improvement than them. Our interview to students and teachers. Students said that it is more motivated, attention, and make a less pressure environment, and they will also get more confidence when talking with AI agent. Teachers said that AI can replace the teachers because AI robot can act as a teaching assistant, but the problems and the situation are relevant, and teacher can deal to the problem faster than AI. The conclusion is that low-performing students act better when AI teach them. When teachers teach them, when teachers contrast to teachers teaching, low-performing students perform significantly better to improve and learning with the learning outcomes. The effectiveness of KV and agent on low, medium, and high-performing students. The medium and low-performing students show better than high-performing students. The suggestion teachers give us is that AI can never replace teachers, and but it can give differentiated tests and corresponding levels to each level students and discuss the courses with teachers. We will do more the bigger size report in the future, our future research. This is our reference. We review the following data, following sources to support our experience. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from our judges?
I'm very impressed that
You are actually getting into a primary school, am I right? How did you get access to those schools to conduct these experiments or this sample taking?
We talked to the teachers and tell them that this would be a great opportunity for their students to experience these kind of new technologies and these new kind of ways of learning, so they can know what they might be experiencing in the future and what might be the future trend of this kind.
So you have connections with this primary school, or you just randomly pop into the primary school and then propose it to them? I just want to figure out how did you get the access to a primary school to conduct this? And this is very impressive to me. Like being a high school student, you have this idea and then can bring it to another school to conduct it. The communication skill or the conversations that with different parties, I can see this thing behind. I would like to see how did you do that?
I guess you just have to be brave enough to ask.
Okay, good. This is the answers that I really want to listen, really want to hear. Because like outside the classroom, this is definitely outside the classroom what you have done. This is very impressive.
Thank you.
Any other questions from judges?
Yes.
So during the presentation, you mentioned, one of you guys mentioned there's a script that you download into the robot. Did you guys write that script?
Yeah, I wrote the script.
Wow, impressive. And so the next question is, how is, because based on what I see, I can't really differentiate the difference between reading at the screen, the robot's face, compared to like an iPad. Very similar.
Or we didn't show the image from the robot's face. Just the robot will use the voice to teach those students. There was image on the iPad with the picture videos.
I see.
So as a question,
Use this for
Use time.
That's it. That's all the questions that were just. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, the team 15. Remember your roles. Maybe I will hire Rick to be my tutor in the future. So let's welcome the next team from team number 2. The topic is called Topic 2.0, Powering Tomorrow Through Petrol. I really need English tutor. Perovskite prediction. Thank you.
Okay, it's been 12 months since we last stood on stage. Welcome back, and a special hello to Vietnamese Cupid. So, I think now is exact before that. Let us start this off with a little story. Jonathan?
Well, let's take a look at the 3 main directions that will draw.
Sorry, your microphone.
Wait.
Sorry.
So let me take you back to where it all begins. In the Ural Mountains, where perovskites were initially discovered by Alexander Graham. Upon discovery, he decided to send a sample of this mysterious mineral to one of his friends, Gustav Rohe, a German scientist. After a decade, he published his work and made 4 specialties of perovskite. It was made of calcium, titanium, and oxygen. It is also in strong acid and is brittle and dense. However, one of the most important discoveries was its unique crystal structure, different from anything he had seen before.
the mystery behind perovskite will have to wait 90 more years when a Norwegian scientist named Victor Johnson published a research paper in which he could clearly define the perovskite and bring it to the new era.
Okay, so just for your information, this isn't a real perovskite. It's just a rock that we found in our school garden. But I don't think that that's the main question on your mind. I think that you want to know why exactly we chose such a random crystal for our solar panel project. Well, let's get to its chemical composition. If you can focus your attention towards you, what you can see is the perovskite structure formed by ABX3. In the occasions, while X is an anion, occasions are teal, the occasions are situated within the dodecahedron structure, and X anions are red. What's fascinating about perovskites is that it's not limited to the calcium titanite found by Gustav Rose. Rather, each and every one of these elements, calcium, titanium, and oxygen, can be switched out for something completely different. The main requirement being that it needs to fulfill the Goldschmidt-Collins rule. If we plug those three radii into this equation, and our T result is in between 0.7 and 1.1, what you have can be considered a perovskite. Perovskites share a lot of interesting features, but the one we are focusing on today is how it is absolutely incredible at absorbing light, making it revolutionary to the solar panel industry. However, with so many different perovskites out there, and so many that we are yet to discover, how exactly do we figure out which one is the best for our solar panel? Well, that's something that our product, the iPrint, helps you with.
Okay, pause. We need to backtrack because what Cedric said was all great and everything, but we need to establish something else. Cedric talked about how great perovskites are, but there's no hero without an enemy, and so is the situation with perovskites. In other words, we need to talk about silicon solar cells. Compared to perovskite, silicon solar cells are much more mature, having been invented in 1954, while perovskite only began in 2009. Furthermore, it can maintain a longer lifespan. Silicon solar cells have 30 years, while perovskite only has 10 in the testing environments. That means that solar cells are much more reliable than perovskites. However, one of the biggest problems is that they often need high heat to manufacture. During the heating process, the cores will heat it with a significant amount of coal and wood chips. This not only can lead to thermal pollution, it also creates carbon monoxides.
Unlike silicon solar cells, perovskites can be manufactured at much lower temperatures, 150 degrees Celsius, compared to the staggering 1,500 degrees Celsius that silicon solar panels need. Furthermore, we brought in a silicon solar panel here for you today, and let's just say if we took one of these tiny silicon chips out and tried to bend it, do you think that would still work? No, because silicon is extremely rigid. What about if we tried to scratch it? Also wouldn't work. But in both of these cases, perovskites can still maintain their high efficiency because they have high flexibility and high defect tolerance.
Okay, here comes the most important part. Because perovskites still have a wider range efficiency level, from the low 3% of calcium-based perovskites to a 27% of lead-based perovskites. And so, there's a lot of promise in the future for perovskites.
Okay, so now I have a little bit of a hands-on activity for the audience. I'd like for you to imagine a truly ginormous number. And I don't mean to say like 1 million or 1 billion. I mean something that truly stretches what the human mind can comprehend. I mean something that verges on the edge of infinity. I'll give you 3 seconds. Okay, so that number is exactly the compositional space of perovskites. A landscape of possibilities so vast we can never truly traverse it. However, using traditional science means that if we want to find a good perovskite, we have to build each and every one of them and test each and every one of them. That's like finding a needle in a haystack, except the haystack never ends, and well, you're not even sure if this needle exists. So that's where our product, the iPrint, comes in. Basically, it relies on data science. Machine learning takes in all of the perovskite data that we give it, does a lot of computing before arriving at possible alternatives. And today we have brought in 5 different sets of theoretical data for you to understand how TI print works its magic.
Now, you may be wondering how and where we can access these data. There are several platforms and websites, but the most important one is the Cross-Site Database Project, which contains over 42,000 pieces of data. However, considering that TI print is a commercial model, we add a lot of data of our own to make our model the best.
Which is?
But in order to give you a simple explanation, we will use 50 pieces of fabricated data. Yes, unfortunately, that means the A and B perovskites are not real. But this is easier for you to understand.
So wait, what does all these data actually mean? Let me simplify all these just for you. When it comes to measuring the efficiency of a perovskite solar cell, one way to visualize it is through power conversion efficiency, which basically is the percentage of sunlight converted into electricity by a single cell. Another major factor is stability. It refers to the amount of time it takes to degrade its efficiency to 80%. So don't let efficiency draw all your attention. Check out how perovskites perform under real outdoor environments. That's what determines the longer results. Something really important in the modern world is sustainability. And that, my friend, is one of our variables as well. And how toxic is a perovskite? Well, of course, it's really hard to measure. So we just get an arbitrary unit ranging from 0 to 1. Last but certainly not least is cost. How much a singular cell costs is really important for a consumer. So we just estimate the cost of manufacturing and materials. Got it?
Okay, so I think that that's a lot of information for you to take in. So let's take a break and I'll tell you a little story. So when we were trying to film the video portion for our STEM project contest, we ran into a little dilemma. You see, adequately gesturing on data and delivering audio in an eloquent manner while maintaining the charisma shown by the different team, yeah, that's solid. But Jonathan over here came up with a brilliant idea. Since I do not have a speaking portion, why don't I do the gesturing? And it was through this experience that I realized my true calling, not as a CEO of Cupid, but rather as a weatherman. So, this is my resume, and if there are any broadcast channels out there watching, this is for open audition. Enjoy the show.
Ignore him. He's way too dramatic for his own. Anyways, one of our claims is that our product, TI Print, will have optimized perovskite experimentations with predictions. You may be wondering how exactly does that work? Well, let's take a look at the three main directions of perovskite experimentation. The first one is to find perovskite with higher energy yield, which means balancing the efficiency and stability. Here are a graph of two different perovskites. The red A-based perovskite and the blue B-based perovskite. The A perovskite that contains high stability with low efficiency, while the B-based perovskite has high efficiency but low stability. So, for future research, we could try to find a balancing with the A captions and the B captions that fits both high efficiency and high stability. The second part is about sustainability of the perovskite source.
Okay, sorry, Jonathan, I need to stop you for a second, because I want to remind the audience that I am not just a mind, I am a weatherman. So, let's take a look at power conversion efficiency. Now, one thing here is quite apparent. Lead-based perovskites take a major lead, with second place, tin-based perovskites trailing far in the distance. In fact, lead-based perovskites are so efficient that they are nearly catching up to silicon solar panels. So I ask you, dear listener, if you were a company, wouldn't you like to use the most efficient perovskite? Well, it's actually not that easy, since lead-based perovskites dissolve in water. So just imagine if it's raining. What happens as the water trickles down is that the perovskite structure dissolves and all of the elements are thrown away into the environment. This is extremely horrible because lead is an extremely toxic material. 150,000 people die annually due to lead contamination, according to the World Health Organization, and even this is considered a low estimate. It causes increased cancer risks, cardiovascular problems, and neurological damage. Safe to say, none of us want that. So let's use the icon to find a more sustainable perovskite.
Again, here are a graph again, but this time with the D-based perovskite and the E-based perovskite.
The E-based process contains high efficiency but high toxicity at the same time, while the E-based process faces the opposite problem. However, what you can see here is the fascinating is these two dots up there. They contains high efficiency comparable to the E-based process while having much lower toxicity. So for future research, we need to try to find out what makes these two dots different and what we can do to improve them further.
The goal of TI Green is making the most data for consumers, whether they prioritize price, efficiency, or stability. We can analyze the data and see which product stand out the most. So imagine here's a client with some needs.
Yo, hello. We're looking for something that's durable because we want to produce large quantities of small electrons. So efficiency doesn't really matter that much, and we want much lower prices. So what would you recommend?
You mean low cost and low lifespans? Okay, let's see. Oh, right there. Stability and affordability. Since small electric fans do not require extremely high output, this might be the best choice for you.
For doing business.
On the other hand, some companies, like larger solar farms, may focus on efficiency. So we can recommend this one. And this is where exactly TI Green comes in. TI Green is a customized system that allows consumers to choose a product that fits them the best.
Okay, so for those of you who have for some reason sat through our amazing presentation, wake up, because now is exactly, wake up. Now is exactly the time for our final pitch. And I'd like to leave you with one single sentence on what TI Green does, which is, skip the guesswork, leave it up to data, because TILPRINT 2.0 is a data-driven model built to optimize the research and development of perovskites, turning years of trial and error into simple digital insights. It's not about waiting patiently for breakthrough. It's about being, creating, and developing that very breakthrough you want to happen. The world deserves a better perovskite, and I think you do as well. Welcome to TILPRINT 2.0, powering, predicting, and providing. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hello. I thought I'm in the Shark Tank for the business pitch. You are going to invest millions of dollars if you unicorn company, right? So any questions from our honorable judges? Yes.
So if I understand correctly, right, your proposed product is going to offer companies a more efficient perovskite option.
Yes.
And this is going to create a better solar panel. Yes. So my question is perovskite easy to get to? Like, is it easy to source?
Quite simply, like if we look at the most common perovskite that's used right now, methylene lead perovskite, it's quite simple. We just need 3 different elements and we can source that from chemical engineering plants.
Okay. And then the kind of follow-up there is that sounds a little bit more difficult.
Actually, it's quite simple because what perovskites need, the infrastructure needed for perovskites is much less than silicon solar panels. And furthermore, if you can take a look at the wiring in the silicon solar panel, if we change the little silicon chips into perovskites, it will still work. So that means that we can just use the infrastructure that was already there for silicon solar panels. Yes.
Got one minute.
Really?
So, great presentation, first of all. And you mentioned the LLM. Right. So basically, TILPRINT is that it's using that to predict which version of the product is the best or carries the best value.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So with that LLM model, is that an in-house thing that you guys are going to develop, or is it going to outsource?
It's going to be we're going to be working with scientists all across the world to make Geoprint 2.0, but we will also be producing our own perovskite silicons.
Okay.
Yeah.
So part of the element model is open source.
Yes, part of it.
So that will basically give the public access to it to a certain degree.
To a certain degree, but we are also going to be adding our own data into LLM to make it the best one.
Okay. So basically you're creating your own competitors in some ways, right? That's what I'm just saying, because that's a great idea. But at the same time, I'm looking at it, like, it's very similar to the present day internet being down, where you have, it's an industry, but the industry is creating its own competition.
It is.
Right. So you are creating like brand new industry.
Yes, we're trying to stay out of the broadcast solar industry, and how we're doing that is by calibrating our LLM with all the data that we put inside.
Yeah.
Yes.
So just trying to see the future of this project.
Okay.
That's all. Thanks.
But do you want me to make it a bit clearer for you?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so what part do you not understand?
Oh, no, it's, I was trying to understand, are you creating a company or are you creating a whole new industry? That's all.
I do not. Okay, so Geoprint 2.0, we'll take the products that we get from it and then turn them into solar panels. So we are competing with silicon solar panels to be more efficient, more durable, and more sustainable. And I'm not exactly certain if that answers your question, but I would love to.
Yeah. It's just the open source part where it's like, oh, okay. When you have anything open source, you basically creating your own entities.
Okay.
Yeah. So, never mind.
I'm so sorry, I'm not really familiar with this kind of.
Okay.
But actually, if you don't have any other questions, I actually have a question that I think if you were investing in our company would be a good question to ask, which is why should you choose Geoprint corporations? And for that, we can take a look back at what we presented for Geoprint 1.0 12 months ago, where we were kind of developing our own sustainable school building. And we also mentioned that we had contracts with the Taiwanese government, and we're going to go international. So right now, after you, we have secured contracts with countries in Scandinavia, and we are also working with the Indonesian government to build new school buildings in the new capital, Nusantara. So that's where we have a really good consumer base to understand. We put out really good quality materials, and also at the same time, we already have our own business in silicon solar panels. So it'll be quite easy to transition from silicon solar panels to perovskite, which makes us quite leading competitive in perovskite as soon as we start. Which we are doing right now.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. I think the new technology to all of us today.
And we have an effort because we did a lot of simplification, and if you want to read more stuff about things, more stuff, we have 18 pages of references. Do we have any takers?
Maybe you can leave it and we can do the break. We can leave it. Yes. So thank you again, and thank you for the So last but not least, we were team 34 that we present the public is investigation into the potential positive and mitigation features of less climate change rate. Please welcome team 34.
Hello everyone, this is Sean. I'm Yoko. Thank you for inviting us here, and this is our presentation. Please enjoy it. We all know that Hawaii experienced an unprecedented great disaster
This marked the first large-scale barrier lake breach in Taiwan since the village tragedy in 2009. Because Taiwan is situated on a volcanic and seismic belt, and we also have narrow river valley and steep river beds. So Taiwan is actually highly prone to landslides. And combined with extreme weather and frequent typhoon and massive discharge in large catchment areas, these factors make barrier lake lifespan short. And we found this data from the Ministry of Agriculture. And regarding 89 barrier lakes in Taiwan, we analyzed this bar chart. And we found that 11.2% of the barrier lakes breached within a day, while 24.7% lasted less than a week. Let's use a time approach to explore how Taiwan can minimize the damage and prevent such tragedies from happening again. And first is the prevention phase. And in July, Typhoon Biffa triggered the formation of the barrier lake. While initially stable, a frequent typhoon caused heavy rainfall in September hit us unprepared. And this should be a video. Thanks. Forget it. And according to our calculation based on the open data from the government, we found that 36.0% are caused by typhoons, while 22.5% are caused by earthquakes. Because of this, we would like to overlay large-scale landslide potential zones, which was investigated by the government, and also the fault zone. This area are highly prone to trigger earthquakes, and also river channel with slope under 20 degrees. Because the slopes was too steep, then won't form. And to create a barrier lake formation risk map, this would allow for early monitoring and soil conservation and slope management, and also strengthening the disaster awareness for mountain communities. And second is the detection and monitoring. And following a disaster, experts use simulation systems to predict where they will form, but however, the actual confirmation still relies on satellite imagery and aerial photography. To defy gravity, satellites are far from the ground, so they suffer from low resolution. And also the orbital period of satellites is different from that of the Earth's rotation. So it's delayed in getting an image. While drones on the other hand, low flexible, but they have suffered from the limited battery lifespan. And this is satellite image, and this is aerial photography. We hope to use automated battery swapping and drones to place fixed camera and solar panels to maintain long-term monitoring and avoid exposing maintenance labor to dangers. And also, furthermore, while Japan previously provided water level gauges to Taiwan, their performance has been inconsistent. From the delay or local terrain. So for public safety, it is essential for Taiwan to invest the equipment that is suitable for Taiwan and in rugged mountain environment.
The next step is to conduct a thin body assessment. Since engineering solutions are impossible due to these four reasons, we must focus on monitoring the sites, providing early warnings, and ensure everyone downstream can evacuate safely. So we can use this table to counting the numbers and locations of the downstream residents. That will allow us to complete the evacuations as quickly as possible. The next stage is reaching the failure point is the disaster period of defining the casualties. When we look at where these risks are and who live there, we can see a clear pattern that most high-risk flood areas are in remote places. Unfortunately, the people living there are more vulnerable and have the fewest resources to deal with the disaster. Take Guangdong Township as an example.
First, we can see that more than half of the populations are indigenous people. Also, migrant workers make up about 16% of the population. The people in this group may face language or information barriers, so they may not receive or fully understand the warnings as quickly as others. Next, if we look at the age structure chart, we can see that about 1/3 of the population are elderly people. Due to physical limitations or information barriers, elderly people may have more difficulties to moving quickly or responding to emergencies. When we put these two factors together, we can see that a large part of the community may face information or physical or communication challenges. So in an emergency, such as embankment breach, these people are more likely to be left behind. And another problem is most people don't really understand the landslide debris and most people don't really understand the risk of landslide dams because we get some alerts on our phones, so we started to ignore them. This is called alert fatigue. This makes us to miss the best time to evacuate safely. So to solve these issues, we should do detailed surveys to the public to find people who need extra help, such as those with physical or mobility issues, so that when in emergencies, we can provide the right support during evacuations. Next, by working with locals and tribal groups, we can reach in the community in a more flexible way. Also, we should populate our landslide dam data so our residents can keep informed. They won't ignore the alert anymore. So, they will ignore our alert anymore. They can evacuate safely in the first time. Next is the post-disaster recovery. The massive volume of skills that after a failure is the big challenges of recovery. These skills can basically be divided into two types. First, useful gravel and sand, which can be given to builders as important building materials. Second, high moisture clay, which can be used as good soil for farming. However, if this clay gets mixed with trash or sand, it can only be sorted and burned. On top of these recycling issues, these disaster sites almost often in among places that we just stayed, and these skills in locals is more than the local building activities. Take Matian River as an example. The construction demand in eastern Taiwan is more than the construction demand in eastern Taiwan is far lower than in the west, but it is too expensive to ship in these materials to the west. So to deal with these issues, we propose bringing mobile crushing and screening plants directly to disaster sites. This technology allows us to perform an initial screening on site without the main advantage is it can that is maximizing the resources to the local rebuilding without the high shipping cost. But we must note that this process material isn't strong enough for major buildings and can only be used in road foundation and hydraulic engineering.
Okay, to sum up, we try to create a very risk and
we previously use Canva to reduce transparency for our visuals, but in the future, we hope to use GX system to achieve more precise and the mapping analysis. And in the second phase, detection monitoring, we hope to use solar panels and drones to place fixed cameras and without exposing maintenance labor to danger. And it is essential for us to invest the equipment that needs to go for Taiwan. And third, in the evacuation phase, we must first investigate the population structure and distribution, and to know the specific needs during the evacuation and in daily life. And we should increase public awareness and also remain data open and transparent. And that's one is recovery phase. We hope to develop mobile crushing and screening plan in the future, and also how government can assist in finding local construction companies to purchase waste oil, and also maximizing its utility and using in local construction projects.
And this is our presentation. We want to dedicate this presentation to those who participate in this disaster and relieve their efforts. Thank you, everyone.
Questions from audience? Yes. So, can you help me? First of all, very great. And you have the insight to be pay attention to some of the natural disasters that we need to face and we need to solve it. So, can you walk me through again how did you use the data analysis skills to help you with this analysis?
And first, we
what data have you collected, and then how the data help you to run through what the preventions or different stages that can help to release the disaster, the outcome, the data collections or data analysis stage. Can you give me a little bit more explanations on
that? First is the how long is the related lifespan? How long we collected from the Ministry of Agriculture and
do it means how do we collect this data?
Yes, it could be part of it because for data analysis, because this topic is more for data analysis, so part of data collection is one of the things as well. So if you can demonstrate a bit more how, if you want to walk us through how do you do the data collections, or how did you use the data to come up with these preventions?
Or maybe you can talk a little bit about GIS.
We hope to use it because we asked our job to be teacher, but that is too hard for us.
And we use the government platform to search in this data, and because we think the government platform more
reliable.
Yeah, they reliable.
The questions or details that our judges want to know more? Okay, thank you very much. That's for all the presentation now, and I know it's not easy, actually it's hard, it's very difficult, especially whenever it's that topic that all of the students have to search or learn the knowledge that probably didn't have the chance to learn deeper during their daily academic studies. They have to do extra studies, they have to research extra, and not even mention those terminology they're using. Probably a lot of teachers or parents or judges. Some of them probably it's the first time they heard those terminology or technology itself. So I hope that I can see a lot of participants probably a little nervous compared with the video you presented. So for now, you have 10 minutes to relax, take a deep breath, and adjust your mood, wait for the results from our judges. And also that our teachers beside and will come beside if you have any questions, they're happy to answer you as well. So please come back here 3:35, okay? We'll see you later. Will the developer judge final score?
So please wait for our members to calculate the final rank of every team's presentation today. But before we really announce the final sequence and results, that I think it is important for you to know that who are your main sponsor in this day. And honorably, that I would like to introduce Casey later on to introduce you the university who have been sponsored this contest for last 9 years. And is also I can say probably the first university in the UK that opened their arms to Taiwanese students with such a high scholarship opportunity. So now please welcome the representative from the University of Sheffield, Casey, to let you learn about the university itself.
So now probably a relaxing time for you guys, because it's my time to explain, to introduce Sheffield to you. Take it relaxedly, enjoy the time now. Okay, first of all, I will explain where is Sheffield. Because for Taiwan is around this area, and then so when you fly all the way to the UK, and we are very close to a airport like a Manchester airport. So from Sheffield to Manchester, or from Manchester to Sheffield is around 15 minutes by train. So we are located in the northern part of England. So in the UK, we have England, Scotland, and Wales. We are in England. And for Sheffield, I would say this is a very student-focused city. So when we say student-focused city, it implies that the safety, the moment that you arrive, you will feel very welcoming. Because everyone you walk around, you will feel very similar to yourself. Kids, university students, and some academic staff will be around that area. So Sheffield city is around 685,000 people, and 60,000 of them are students. So when you arrive, you will feel very welcoming, a very friendly city as well. And this quick wheels will show you how Sheffield's look like. This is more like a very one of the safest city in the UK, and also known as the most affordable student city, top 10 of them. And if you are enjoying city life as well as you want to have some leisure time to get close to nature, Sheffield is also a very good university, being named as the greenest city. So very close to a national park that I will show you later on. So there are some highlights about Sheffield. So we are one of the top 100 universities in the UK. So this is very unique or very important for your decisions making when you decide to study abroad. You probably want to study in a university which is well known. So we are top 100 university. So we are not only well known in the UK, around the world. So if you graduate from Sheffield, come back to Taiwan, most of the employers must have known Sheffield University. And 14 of our subjects are ranked top 100 as well. So we are very strong at STEM. We also be very good at some media communications majors, psychology, and business as well. So even though today you are doing a contest with data science background, but maybe one year or 2 years later on, you find, or maybe psychology is also our majors, then Sheffield is very good at that area as well. So one of the very important things, and I really want you to think about is, we are always the #1 student union. In the past 7 years, we are being voted by students that this is the best student union in the UK. What it means to you is you can enjoy your life easily. Studying is important. Improving your academic skills is important. But also you should use the time that you spend in the UK to enjoy your life, to build your network, to know people around you. So make use of the student union. You will be able to make friends from different faculties, different schools. And please listen to one of the students, what he said.
Super interesting. I mean, it kind of has to be. It has so many data. Ever since I've been here at Sheffield,
so many new sports, like badminton, pickleball, even volleyball. There are loads of university sports clubs that you can come here and enjoy. And even outside university, like ice skating, jumping arena, or trying new sports like paddle. Whether you take sports seriously or just want to get active, there are great facilities here on campus, and even outside of campus, like unfortunate Olympic-sized swimming pool. And there are tons of local running clubs that you can come enjoy. But what Sheffield is really famous for is climbing. There are now 5 different climbing walls here in the city, and it's not just indoor climbing. The Beach District National Park is literally on your doorstep. It's only 15 minutes away by train, and it's also great for hiking, trail running, road cycling, even mountain biking. And it's just a great place to relax, take a break when you really like to get intense. My favorite thing definitely about the Beach District is how big it is. Each trip to the Beach District is unique, as there's so many new areas to explore.
So like once again, like when you study abroad, academic important, but sometimes you will feel that a little bit too much pressures, like I'm not sure if I can handle it. Exercise, sport is important. It can help you to relax a bit, and also get close to the nature is also another important point to make your life, your work, your study, and your life more balanced. This is how we keep ourselves healthy. So Sheffield, that city will make you be able to get access to like everything easily. And since today, like our theme is more on STEM data science, so I picked engineering, this faculty, this group, to explain what makes Sheffield so special among all other UK universities. So under our engineering faculties, we have like varieties of different majors. Nowadays, for Taiwanese students, getting very popular will be aerospace engineering, computer science, mechanical engineering. So those areas is getting more and more popular. And even biomedical engineering, not only Taiwanese, even other city or other country students are getting more focus on biomedical engineering because of the lifespan issue. And to look at Sheffield, we have very outstanding facilities. One of the unique building and iconic building is the Diamond Building. So this building is particularly for engineering student, but having said that, if you are not studying engineering, you will still be able to get access to this building. So we have like 15 different laboratories that can help students to learn about different engineering majors. We also have more than 1,000 study space. So if one day you find staying at home, studying at home will be a bit too bored, maybe a bit more temptations, you cannot focus, you can quickly come to the Diamond Building, get a study space, and then to study there. And we alternate 24/7. And the other one is iForge. iForge is a very unique place that allows students to access to different equipment that you can generate your idea. Let's say if one day you wake up, you have an idea to get a Formula One vehicle with a 3D printer. Yes, you can do it. You can easily do it. Book a room over there, and then you can make use of our 3D printer, CNC router, every laser cutter. You will be able to access it. So if your interest is doing science, engineering things, facilities would also be one of your considerations. If a university can provide you good facilities, you can actually utilize those up-to-date equipment to implement your idea. And for the skills, like for today, I can actually see some of you have already have some of the skills that are listed over here. So you are one of the potential that can implement or develop further with all those skills. So for data science or engineering student, obviously you will be learning or improving your data handling skills, data interpretation skills. But some of the other skills that I really want to point out will be this one, and how you adapt to the environment, and why you should consider to study abroad. This is very important as well. So if you are staying in Taiwan, basically, of course, you can still get access to a very good education system. However, you are very focused in Taiwanese culture, you are too used to Taiwanese culture. When you graduate, after if you go to a global company, you may find that a bit difficult to be involved because you don't understand how foreigners thinking, how they work using, even though they are speaking English, you understand English. However, what is their true mean, you may not get it, but if you have experience to study abroad, you learn the cultures, then you will know how to communicate with different people with different background. That part you will need to learn it or experience while you are studying abroad. So for engineering or computer science focused student, one of the unique things that we are embedded to our undergraduate degree is like from the first year, you will be able to get into a project called Global Engineering Challenge Project, which is very similar to today's context. Why we are being the first university to come to Taiwan to have this school context because of this idea. Because we, from time to time, we know that globally, every area, we have different challenges. Like students will be our futures to solve those problems. That's why we want to bring this to Taiwan. Before you enter the university, you know that nowadays different issues that the community need to face, how you can actually help the future to solve it. Then this is your first step. And while you have already arrived Sheffield on your first years, like engineering student, you will also be doing one of the projects to help you to understand the real world challenge and how you utilize your skills that you develop, how to solve a problem, how to decide, how to be a team player that will be discussed in the first year. And second year, we also want you to have a bright futures to be hired. So second year, we will have compulsory modules called You Are Hired. So under these modules, we will teach you, guide you what is the future employer really need. Then you have very clear inspirations on what skills you need to develop. And of course, besides what, we have also have a lot of different society and different activities that you can enjoy so that you can easily go to the student union to have different varieties of activities that you should enjoy in the UK. And this is one of our campus. The videos that I show will be like a Sheffield city area. But in terms of campuses, this is our campus. We are very close to the Sheffield city center. We are very easy as the diamond is over there. And if you can see this tallest building, we are actually in the UK, the tallest academic building belongs to Sheffield. So if your future goal is architecture, that will be your building. So this is all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Also that I would like to introduce you other representative from the Durham University International Studies Center. That also is one of our main sponsors and who is very supportive, being very supportive to Chinese students. And Durham is the university in British people's heart that just at the same level as Oxford and Cambridge. So please welcome Mr. Robinson.
Thank you very much for the warm welcome. And I'm very, very happy to be able to be here with you today. I really enjoyed all of your presentations, and it's a pleasure to talk to you a little bit about Durham. And so as I do a little introduction to Durham, I want to talk a little bit about just a profile of the school, so you can kind of see, what is Durham, what makes it so special, what gives it that place in British people's hearts. We'll take a look at the location, not only on the map of England, but also the location of the school itself. And then I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the foundation year and the academics. There's some very, very unique and special features at Durham that make it stand out even among the British universities and among the world even. And lastly, then I'll talk a little bit about your student life if you decide to go there. So first, I want to kind of point out that Durham, besides just being a very well-ranked school, the word that comes to mind with Durham is tradition. Okay, Durham is almost 200 years old. It's the third oldest school in England, and it's also on top of that excuse me if I can pop back over here for a second. The church right here is a UNESCO World Heritage site. So it's a incredibly important location for UK and their history as well. So besides rankings, besides the tradition, there's also then the students' opinion of Durham itself. So, Durham was the UK University of the Year for 2026. It's something that it's a university that's recognized by employers as well, so that they know that you come from that sort of very high quality traditional UK education. Right? So Durham, just like Sheffield, has that recognition from those that you're going to be looking for jobs. In terms of location, then we're kind of further to the north in the UK, in England specifically. So you can see kind of, this is the actual campus, and you'll see a little bit later that it's surrounded kind of by the river. So that's the location of Durham. And then we also have our ISC that's located on the Queen's campus, just a short distance away from the actual campus. So you can see a shot at the ISC right there. But once you progress to the university, this is where you're walking every day for your lectures and for your study periods. Right? So you see that English history is alive and well. Speaking of walking around campus, as you walk around, you might recognize certain locations that have been used in famous films. So, for example, I don't know if we have any Harry Potter fans. Do we have anybody that likes Harry Potter? Yeah, we got one. Yeah, in the back, Mom, too. Me, yeah. So, as you walk around campus, you can sit down with your books and do a little studying, and you can walk the same halls that Harry Potter walked with his friends. Also, The Avengers is filmed in this area. It's called the Cloister. And so the Cloister part of Durham's sort of castle, this is where they filmed The Avengers. Okay, so you see kind of these very, very famous sites that, as we said, UK's UNESCO World Heritage Site. They come to this for filming events. Now, continuing with our sort of mention of Harry Potter, Durham also has a very, very unique feature that's rare among British universities, and that's what's called the collegiate system. So from Harry Potter, maybe Mom, you remember, right? There's 4 houses, okay? So out of these 4 houses, this is how they divide the school. And each house has its own culture, its own traditions, right? Its own sort of style, okay? Durham also has this, although we don't have Slytherin. Okay, so no evil in Durham's University. Okay, but what we do have is we do have a collegiate system, and every single student that progresses on to Durham will be part of a different college, and each of those colleges have different events, different traditions, maybe different secrets as well, right? And all of this is to help you kind of build a community. Okay. Casey, I think I already mentioned to you how important those relationships that you build at university are, okay? It's so much, not just what you know, but who you know. These are the kinds of things that are really gonna build that sort of experience for you in university. It's gonna be one of the most important experiences of your life. Okay? You will make friendships and you will have experiences that you will remember forever, okay? Some of those high school days, they might fade, okay? But your university experience is one of the more special ones in your academic career, okay? And so the collegiate system at Durham does a really good job of helping you build those connections that you're gonna probably have for the rest of your life. I know for me, I still keep in touch with many of my college friends. We're all around the world, okay? One of my college friends is the reason why I'm in Taiwan with this job right now. Okay? So, it's very important the connections you make, and Durham does an excellent job of you connecting to the right people. A little bit about the academics. I want to talk about the foundation year because in Taiwan, generally speaking, Taiwanese students need a foundation year. So I know most of us here maybe are a little bit more focused on STEM. We do have a science and engineering pathway. But also Durham is very, very strong in its law and business. Okay, so some of the social sciences are incredibly strong in Durham. If you decide to join us, then you can join us in either September or January or November. I'll leave, again, your wonderful counselors to tell you more a little bit about the academics, but we do want to make sure that we have students with strong academic backgrounds. We want to make sure you succeed. Okay? And if we let everybody in, then there's a chance that we might not do so well in our university. Okay? So we want to make sure that we set you up to succeed. And that means we have to have the right entry requirements. Okay? So besides academics, then we would kind of expect IELTS 5.5. For many of you, I don't think that's going to be a problem. I heard very, very strong English skills today. And for those of you that are maybe a little extra strong, there's also an accelerated foundation year that starts in March. And the only difference there is that we need an IELTS of 6.0. Okay? So a little bit of a stronger IELTS, you can have a shorter foundation year. Okay? A little bit more about academics at Durham that make it a little bit special. UK education usually expects you to focus a little earlier, okay? So we go to the UK to study business, we're going to be studying business. If we go to the UK to study aerospace engineering, your classes are going to be aerospace engineering. Except at Durham. Durham gives you an opportunity for something that's called a combined honors. And what this allows you to do is to have a little bit more of an interdisciplinary experience, meaning you can study different subjects from different backgrounds. So, for example, if you want to maybe study business, you can also pair that with something like a foreign language, okay? Between Chinese, English, and maybe Spanish, that's a lot of the world that you can make connections with, right? So, business and maybe a foreign language. That's not just limited to social sciences. So for those of us that are interested in our engineering, there's also joint honors in natural sciences. So if you want to study something like chemistry, our perovskite friends, but maybe we want to add in a little bit of business with that as well, okay? We want to really take TEAL 2.0 to the next level, right? There's a chance for you to do that. Same thing if we want to do something like maybe computer science and philosophy. Okay, we want to understand how computers work. We want to know how maybe our brains or our life view works. Okay, all kinds of different combinations available to you at Durham. This is something that's very unique. Not every UK university offers this. Okay, so this is something, as you consider your undergrad experience, something to consider. Okay. Last thing I want to talk a little bit about is student life. If we go to the ISC, there's tons of different kinds of music, arts, and clubs to join. Okay, so for musicians, there's going to be a band that you can perform with. All kinds of different clubs, sports, everything is available at Durham. All those great things to help you, again, make those connections, make friends. I highly encourage you, no matter where you go, make sure you do something like this. Join a club, get interested in something. You will not regret it. Okay? Additionally, for those of you that are very career focused, there's a leadership program at the ISC. This is going to give you an opportunity to attend events, to maybe meet future professors or other people that, again, can help you expand your network. Okay? So another thing that I would encourage you, especially if we're focused on our careers. And last thing I want to mention then is that you have a lot of other Taiwanese that have joined. So this was Coco. We had a chance to have her with us last summer as an intern. She was able to come after her foundation year and work a little bit in Taiwan with us. And she told me all about how she enjoyed her time in Durham, how much she enjoyed the different social events with her friends, all kinds of different formal dinners that she was allowed to attend, making those connections again with the different colleges. Okay. So again, she's there right now. She's still doing her undergrad. So those of you that might join in the fall or maybe next year, you have a chance to talk with Coco. She might be a very helpful person for you. Okay. So that is where I'll leave it. I very, very much appreciate your attention, and I hopefully we get a chance to see you at Durham ISC this year or next year. Thank you.
Thank you. And Since that we have been, as international student center in Taiwan, we have been recruited for universities around the world. And we proudly be the partnership with the UK University, holding help to execute and operate these competition for the last 9 years. So now please welcome our director to sum up the ideas that two representatives just shared with you. Please welcome Ms. Angel Yang.
Also, I really want to express my appreciation for Study Group and Durham IC and Sheffield IC for supporting the competition over the past 9 years already. Yes. 所以我们现在我们要用中文的跟同学跟家长稍微解释一下，到底你接下来比赛结束，等一下颁奖了会发生什么事情？然后还有你有没有想过接受你的奖学金前往英国就读？那因为这会牵扯到读书的问题，也会牵扯到一些入学还有学费各方面，所以我用中文解释，让同学跟家长会比较清楚的了解，就接下来会发生的问题。首先，我要先跟各位同学说一下，我真的非常开心，可以就是看到这么多优秀的高一学生、高二或高三的学生。那当然，我们有从可能宜兰过来的，像南洋女中、某东高中的学生，也有从台中过来的学生，其实大家都非常辛苦。那也很谢谢你们，就是这么优秀，都可以来参加这个比赛。因为事实上，我们这个比赛今年是办第9年。那事实上，每一年到现在，其实你们科学类组可能有将近70-80组学生，所以你是最后5组可以做到这里的，你已经要觉得非常骄傲了。那我相信父母也很感动，因为其实要打败那么多人做到这里来，所以第1名不是最重要的，最重要是你有加入这个 final， 好不好？先给各位自己一个掌声。我要先跟你们解释一下，因为事实上你们参加这个比赛，然后你们入围到前5名，事实上接下来不管你们未来是不是有考虑去 Durham 的ISC 或 Sheffield ISC 就读 Foundation Program， 都不需要再额外提交任何的 personal statement 或额外任何的一些 essay 所有的文件，你会 guarantee 有拿得到我们就是Foundation Program 的就是所谓的 conditional offer。那什么是 Foundation 呢？基本上 Foundation 的意思是因为我们台湾学制我们是12年的中学，所以我们少了英国事实上是3年毕业，然后再来是3年大学。那因为我们少了这1年中学，所以我们需要多就是补1年的学分，所以我们会叫 Foundation Program 叫 Year Zero， 所以你会从大0升大1、大2、大3一样都是4年毕业，这是第一个 concept。那如果你今天有不管是拿到第几名，你都会有奖学金的机会。如果你要保留，等一下我们会有我们会有同事跟你们讲解你要怎么样保留，怎么样选科系。那有很多家长会有疑问说，第一个到底我真的让孩子出去吗？到底美国好、英国好，还是说学费各方面的考量？第一个我现在都会这样解释的。我觉得英国的大学的留学 CP 值已经非常非常高，因为事实上相较于美国，第一个它的生活费跟学费是比美国低的，现在目前全世界最贵的是美国。第二个，我们今天support 我这个比赛并不是一个烂大学，它 Durham 跟 Sheffield 都是全世界100大。假设你刚刚有在 catch 那个 Cassie 跟我们的 Mark 的这个 presentation， 2个学校都是全世界前100名的大学，它的世界排名事实上跟台湾的台大是差不多的。我们台湾只有1个大学有全世界前100名，就是台大而已。所以如果你今天要多努力上台大有多困难，你没有参加这个比赛，你就多困难要上2个大学。所以你现在有拿到这个入学机会，我希望你也很珍惜它。第二件事情，其实刚刚有解释，Sheffield事实上是一个工程类非常非常强的一个学校，而且比起美国的话，英国的大学它事实上提供的学生，第一个有交换1年的机会，第二个你也可以选择 placement year， 你可以选择多1年的 internship。那你除了在一个非常好的大学拿到毕业证书之外，你的履历，你毕业之后除了有学历，你已经有多1年的工作经验跟履历，帮助你一毕业之后可以留在当地求职。所以事实上这是一个很加分的。再来，比起美国的大学，事实上像刚刚 Mark 介绍到的 ，Durham 它是一个学院型学校，然后我们 Sheffield 大学事实上是这几年台湾学生毕业愿意前往美国就读，是一个 CP 值非常非常高的学校，所以 Sheffield 大学是非常非常多的一个国际学生来自120几个国家，所以它是一个真的
非常开放而且排名很好的一个很前卫的学校。所以事实上 ，Sheffield 大学跟 Durham 的学校都是在英国事实上是非常非常有特色的一个学校。假设你有机会前往的话，第一个不仅你是参加了一个比较小班制精致教学的英国大学，你不是交了几百万的学费去美国一个可能 big course 或者是一个 big lecture， 一个班300人，在英国没有300人的 big lecture， 所以事实上你缴的学费，你孩子的读书品质，还有再加上你最后得到的东西，除了毕业证书之外，英国可以给你什么？除了城堡，刚刚 Darren 看到城堡，对不对？然后我们学校有红砖楼，那事实上就是文化跟历史，你可以去体验到的，不是只是拿到张毕业证书，你可以真正的去 experience 那边欧洲、英国的那个他们的历史跟他们的悠久的一个文化。所以希望孩子，你可以思考一下，也可以回去跟父母讨论，你接下来是有接受奖学金，还是你有想要学礼券？如果有这个机会的话。目前英国的大学，因为英国只有120几个大学，全部都是公立学校，但事实上学费一定 range 的控管，不管是 Durham 跟 Sheffield， 一年的学费大概我们会抓大概3万英镑左右。那如果是加当地生活费，我们大概抓1万英镑左右。所以如果前往英国就读1年的学费、生活费总开销，我们可能会抓150万上下。那就取决于孩子怎么样省钱或怎么样生活，因为当地的生活费就是可能你就是不要每天吃3批吃大餐，就是自己煮饭就可以省出来。而且我们这几年其实很多优秀的学生都从这2个大学毕业，甚至在当地都找到不错的工作。所以如果之后你有意愿想要前往，甚至是你未来有要入学的话，我们这边都会无条件协助学生，除了让你可以顺利前往办理签证之外，也会先帮你可能就是 arrange 一样是大学生还是未来学长姐，让你不至于说，你到那边没有人可以协助，所以你可以开始思考。那没有问题的话，我们就要公布得奖结果咯。好，那我们麦克风回到 Angela 这边。
Thank you, very good. But before we announce the final results, I think it's still very important to let you reflect the journey that you've been prepared for these contests. So I'm not going to invite all of the judges to give you any feedback individually, as it costs too much time. I think it is important. We at least heard from the University of Sheffield that generally that how's the competitors and the participants today having performed, and is there anything you can improve or you can learn from these experiences that you can bring with as a part of your energy to your next step of your future? So please welcome Ms. Cassie to give us some feedback.
I'm so happy to be here, listening or seeing all of you guys, what have you been doing with this project competitions, project contests. I can see a lot of work behind today, all the research you've done, all the preparations or data analysis that have been done, carry on, that can help you to learn different skills. And then I really appreciate that, the time that you spent on this one and how eager you are being involved to be our future student. This is a very important thing for us. And then to give some feedback, I would say for today in general, you guys are pretty impressive. Although some of them may show a bit of nervous, stress upfront, but we can understand that. We can totally understand that this is a very pressurized presentation. Even sometimes for myself, I may not be speaking fluently in front of too many people. But you did it today. And then this is the amazing thing that you have done. But I really want you to carry on this courage, to be your next level. No matter which university you are applying for, but remember today the things that you learned, the extra step that you have taken. This is the future, your future characteristic that you need to hold on. whether for study or for your future career. The courage is very important. Keep it up.
Thank you. So now, we're going to get into the train, all right? So first, I would like to invite our senior student consultant from our center to present the fifth prize. All the microphone kind of tired as well. The fifth prize of the STEM contest. So please welcome Missy Fan Hong. And now the fifth prize goes to the team that put their care on the landslide dam lakes. So please welcome Team 34. Congratulations. I think students start the project from our homeland is very important because that's what education for, right? We not only want them to thrive internationally, eventually one day important to their hometown as well. Now, I would like to invite our Center Director, Angel, to present the fourth place award. So, Angel, can you come from to the stage? And so the fourth place goes to the team that they put a lot of effort to study about different city parts can generate how much electricity. So please welcome Team 20. Congratulations, you get the first place. Any teachers come with the students? 在场都是家长吗？有老师吗？哦，好。I really love the idea that they different control and how they want to generate. We even just tease that probably different ways will generate different electricity. So it's a really good idea. So now I would like to invite the education institution that have been very dedicated to the international education, especially in Thailand, Mr. William, to present our third prize. So the third prize goes to the team that been lively present us how about the Rose rules or the Rose riddles. Please congratulations, team 44. I think anyone can drive probably will fascinated to the idea and will deeply agree with whatever they say. I hope one day the government have enough budget to fix our road sign as they suggested. A teenager education, not only their family, parents support is very important, but also their teachers who stand all the way, leave during the holidays. So please, can everybody give them applause and also the teacher. Now, two teams left, and two teams now sit at their very nervously. Who's going to So, before I announce which one is going to get the second place, I would like to invite Ms. Robinson to go on the stage to present the second prize. So the second place goes to Team 50, that they have studied hard for the tool that I personally read a lot, that's for AI for education. Please congratulate. 老师有来吗？没有吗？I think that on the shoulder of AI, people hope that the education gap between different levels of society can be narrow and narrower. So I think it's a brilliant idea that all the educators probably should focus on. So, congratulations. Please welcome our next team that is the champion of this year for the STEM project. And also, I'm going to invite the representative of the University of Sheffield to present this honor to team number 2. As a scientist or entrepreneurship, I think they very bold and very innovative to present their idea. Okay, congratulations. So that's the end of the project contest this year. Later on, our teachers, our consultant inside, are going to share with you the things you should be noticed if you want to accept the scholarship or not. And before that, I invite everyone, let's stand up, go back to the board and take the record of the really remarkable day. 所以我们接下来麻烦所有的参赛者，请带着你的奖状跟你的奖杯到后面赛场后方，我们的评审将跟大家一起照相，留下这个非常重要的记录，相信对你的学习历程档案也非常有帮助。